honor. I have to say that, honestly, just coming from being raised alongside you, I feel like from Akilah and the Beat to now seeing your journey now, I feel like I've just been a cheerleader the entire time. Like,
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That means the world, because I definitely been doing it for a long time.
look, I mean, you've just been such a pillar and an example for Black women, especially. So I want to just start with the music. I really want to start with Standards, man.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yes.
Can we just, what inspired that record?
Oh man, so it was a long journey, right? Because I actually did the album before I even did the Big Boss movie. So the Big Boss album was done with Tricky months before I figured out how I want to do the visual to it. And so ultimately when I did the visual and put it all together, the song that was there, it just happened to fit, but it wasn't custom made for the actual narrative that went along with the movie. And something happened with the song, so we had to like do another one. And so essentially, you know, the message of the movie, which chronicalizes my journey through the music industry and essentially like me not wanting to fold in certain scenarios, even though I went through a lot of hard trials and tribulations, ultimately staying true to myself was what I felt like was more valuable. And that's what the song was birthed out of, kind of the spirit of coming to those terms and understanding like, look, I got standards, you know what I'm saying? And if that means that I got to be on my own or that means I've got to create my own path, then so be it, because my standards and making sure that my crown never falls off my head means more to me than being cool or down with whatever y'all trying to tell me I got to be good or be on, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like one thing that I resonate with you is you talk about the lone wolf mentality.
Yes.
And a lot of times just in my journey and what I do, I feel like I'm one of one, and not in a sense of like I'm saying that to be cocky, but I'm saying that because I can fit in everything, but also nothing. So I want to really talk to you about how do you really make that you own the lone wolf mentality.
I love what you said about that, because I do think it's double-edged sword with the lone wolf mentality. I do think when you're a lone wolf, you got to remember that there are people that are for you. Even if they recognize that you're doing your own thing and you're on your solo dolo and you got your own unique vibe, there are people that are going to support you in that. So I think I learned that as well along my journey. And you see that in the Big Boss movie. Like, there were plenty of people that saw that I was unique and was fine with that and supported me in that. But I had to accept and embrace that. So I think that's one side of it. And then the other side of it is like, those are the things that make you unique. Like, for me growing up doing music, people always try to tell me that I could not add my other skills to it. Like, you know, it would make me feel like, oh, in order to be a musician, you got to be in this box because that's what a musician is. And it's like, well, I'm not just a musician, actually. I am an overall entertainer. So, yes, I do sing, but I act, I host, I'm a personality. There are a lot of things that come with KeKe Palmer, the brand. And I think once I realized that, which is obviously what the movie is also about, that's when I really became a big boss. Because I stopped trying to fit myself into what it was to be a musician, because I'm not just a musician, I'm a multifaceted. And so I think when you embrace your differences, that's when you actually become who it is you're meant to be.
How long do you think it took you to embrace that?
Girl, it took a long time. It did take a long time. You know, I think, man, I would say it's steps. It's like moments of it. And I think it was like a journey for me. And I really do attribute like a lot of that growth to Atlanta. I remember I moved to Atlanta when I was about between 23 or 25, I can't remember exactly. I moved down here and I wanted to just kind of like do my music thing. I started working with like Tasha Couture and, you know, we had a really cool thing going on with Alex and Queso, and they really embraced me. And that was kind of me trying to, because really it was the music thing that I think that I always felt like, man, I had to have separate.
Yeah.
Once I got over that piece and I spent time here by myself and kind of just did my own thing musically, I started realizing that I could just meld all my worlds together. But it took a lot of time, you know what I mean, of just me growing in my personal life to understand that, you know, it's okay to be different. It's okay to stand out. It's okay not to fit in. And that sounds like such a cliche thing. And also, I'm sure it sounds like something like, well, KeKe, you've been KeKe all your life. And it's like, but even with that, people have an identity for you, and you're going to keep evolving. And so when you keep evolving, it's like you got to keep on taking on those new challenges that you're going to come up against where people try to box you in.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, like just you being an example for my personal life, because I've just seen your growth.
Oh, thank you.
And you kill every aspect of the entertainment industry that you want to be in.
Thank you so much.
You're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to execute it in every way. So I just want to give you your flowers in that.
That means a lot. Thank you.
For sure. And I want to talk about waiting.
Oh, yes.
What
Now, Waiting is
inspired-
my jam, child.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah,
record. What
thank
inspired
you.
that one?
So, again, the whole process with Tricky, I think he's really a producer in the sense where he sees an artist and he really uses them as a muse and creates a whole synergy and team around them. Like, I first went in and it was just a conversation between us, and he was like, "What's your vibe? What's your thing? Like, what are you going through right now?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm a boss. My energy is like, I mean, I've been through the ups and downs of this music game, but now I know what it is to really invest solely in myself and be able to be the one that says no, yes, because that's the truth, right? You know, like when it comes to doing anything in your career, if you want the last say so, it really costs to be the boss. So I think that's a big part of too. Like me getting to where I am is like having the money and the ability to really like be like, no, motherfuckers. This is mine. You know what I mean? This is what I want to do, and I'm going to foot the bill for it. So I think that was really where I was, the place I was in. And so Waiting is one of those songs that come from that same mentality. Like, I'm not, it goes across the board of professional, personal, romantic. Like, I'm done waiting, you know, for people, for this, for that. Like, I'm taking charge and I'm doing my own thing. And so that's essentially where that song came from. But I just love that it kind of had like a little rap vibe to it. Because I do like I could sing down, honey. But not always do you want to hear a record where somebody is blowing like a damn Disney record. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you want to just hear something that's like, hey. And so I really love Waiting because it was like that verse, I see through your life, I am not a fool, got some nerve when this body got the juice. It's just kind of like a cool little flow to it. Mm-hmm. So I really love that, you know, so that record's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love that you said, I'm done waiting for you motherfuckers.
You know what I'm saying? I'm done waiting. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because the song is saying, like, I'm tired of waiting for you to love me the way I want to be loved. Mm-hmm. And that's, my energy is like that across the board in my life where it's like, look, man, I got about 15 minutes. Are we going to do it or not? You know, and if we're not, then I got to move on. And that attitude, I think, is the attitude that you got to have. You can't stop for nobody. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I remember I had this little deal on the line right now that I'm working on. And my homegirl, she works with me. And she was like, you know, so are we going to hold back on this project while we wait for this deal to finish? I said, oh, no, baby. We can get reimbursed when the deal come through. Right now, we got to still move. We got to finish. We got to act like we don't have that going. Mm. And that's the attitude I think you got to have as a boss, you know?
And I was reading something that you said when it comes to even KeKe TV
yes.
and your network, like just being like, I am now in a boss position where I have to do the deadlines. Yes. I got to make sure it's done. So how does that even feel being in the production aspect of everything as well?
It feels crazy in the production aspect for everything to fall on you. I mean, and I do think it's given me a lot more of grace for the people that I've worked with. Because, you know, being the talent, I think is like one of the easiest things. And I'm sure y'all could probably attest to that too. Like me coming in right now saying, hey on the mic, y'all had like 15 other things that y'all had to do and make sure that was going well to lead up to this point. So I think for me, being somebody now that's behind the scenes, it's really given me a lot of grace and understanding for people that I've been working with. And sometimes we have no patience for it. Be like, why we got to wait for this? Now I understand a lot of those things, which I think is great. And then on the other end of it is me learning again how to work from this position, you know, and be a mentor to those that I'm working with, and also learn how to be a mentor, you know, because I'm somebody that's still mentored. And you know, I remember when Queen Latifah showing me how she getting her stuff done, and you know, Shaka who worked with Luda, and just watching all those people for so many years that have given me great advice, and now being somebody that other people look at in that way, it's something that I don't take lightly. But KeTV Network has really taught me trial and error, that nothing's going to be perfect. Again, I'm big on leaning on my team. You can't do nothing without people that believe. And, you know, the people that I work with, they really believe in me. They believe in me. They believe in my vision. They believe in what I'm trying to do. And that's really what makes it all go down. So I'm very happy and excited for what's to come with KeTV. We got some great short scripted series, short, non-scripted series, and a lot more stuff coming with that. So I look forward to maybe doing a lot digitally, but also being able to do some more stuff traditionally and taking some of those great projects and seeing how they can expand on network, on traditional television.
You killing it, man.
Man, thank you.
You're doing your thing. And we were just in here listening to Views.
Which one?
Views.
Yes, honey, Views. Now, when I first heard that, that's what I said. It was so funny. We was in the studio with Trick, and I'm like, Views is really, I'm so happy to hear you say that, because we're in the studio, and that song was recorded, and I'm sitting there hanging out, and I'm like, y'all, this record is so unique, because the way that it was structured, it just was not common. And when I heard it, I'm just like, this is me riding down, and I'm really like getting into it with it. So I'm glad to hear y'all say that, because Views for me me was definitely one of those ones.
We played it like 3 times in here. We
Yeah.
was like, doom, doom. In the beginning, the production is amazing.
It is. It's so good. And I can't wait to see everybody. Like, I'm so excited about the Atlanta Film Festival. And I'm so excited we're doing like a screening at the new studio that Tricky just built. Shout outs to him for that. He's just expanding. But I'm excited to see all the people that worked on the project. Because I'm big on, like, you know, we did this together. I'm just one piece of it. But all the writers, the producers, everybody that worked on the project, they really was just amazing. So I'm excited to finally celebrate with them and be like, y'all, we did it.
We did it, Joe.
Yeah, exactly. We did it, Joe. You're the president of the United States of America.
For real. That was a moment. But I want to talk about the title of the project, Big Boss. Just let the girls know, what does it mean? Like, what inspired that title?
So, you know, when I was younger, it's funny. So, y'all know back in the day, Diana Ross, she had the album called The Boss, you know, and my dad used to call me Lil Mama, and my dad would always say I was like a little boss. Like, since I was a little girl, because I was very bossy, you know what I'm saying? I'm a Virgo, what can I say? But my dad used to always say, he like, you remind me of Diana, you a boss. And that just, you know, how your parents talk to you, and my parents really built me up, that always stuck with me. So I think I always have had like a sense of pride about my character and like what I could do because of the way that my parents spoke to me. And so again, I think it's just a accumulation of all of that, and then where I got to myself, and I was just like, you know what, I'm a big boss. Like, you know, I don't know why I just started saying like, you know, I'm a big boss. I mean, honestly, it probably is because I just was seeing all the bills that I was footing with all these different things I was putting together. I was like, damn, I'm paying for all this on my own. Okay. And that definitely makes you feel like a boss. I think, I'll be honest, I think that is, to me, the biggest piece of being a boss. I mean, a lot of other things, right? How you talk to people, how you deal with people, how you get people to want to buy into what you're doing. Because that's a big part of being a boss, too, is like, being somebody that people want to work with. You know what I'm saying? If LeBron not doing his thing on the court, then ain't nobody listening to what he got to say. So you got to be somebody that people like, yo, I respect what you're saying. I want to follow that. And that also comes from you being a good communicator and being a kind person. I do believe kindness is a part of that. So I think, you know, for me, that's the kind of boss that I am. And that's definitely the kind of energy that I bring. But also, like, I'm paying for my stuff. I think people really need to understand that. I do. Because a lot of times people are like, I'm a boss. You know, I'm a boss. And it's like, but who are you answering to? You know what I'm saying? Or are you able to, what are you really doing that allows you to say you're the boss? You know, because you can't just come up here and say I'm in charge and delegate, but you're not really putting your money where your mouth is. I think that that's a huge thing. And for me, it's like, that's why when I say I'm the boss, it's because I paid for the shit. Seriously. You know, it's like I paid for it. So I'm able to say what I want. So I think anybody that's out there saying they're a boss or they want to be a boss, I think everybody needs to really understand that. It's about, yes, how you treat people. It's about the attitude that you're bringing. It's about having a vision and being able to lead people somewhere. And it's about putting your money where your mouth is. I don't want to hear you say you no boss for nothing. You sitting up like, oh, I ain't got no money. But that's like everybody going to get some weed. You being like, I just smoke it then. But where your money at? Where you ain't putting nothing in on it? You know what I'm saying? Like, how you just going to be like, yeah, you know, it's that kind of vibe.
That's facts, man.
You know what I mean? It's like, stay your ass in the bag.
Get outside.
Yeah, it's giving the wood. Y'all remember that scene? He was like, get in the bag. You don't get no zigzag. You get no drag.
For real. Man, but just the energy in the room right now, one thing that's consistent among whatever journey you're embarking upon is your, like, light.
Oh, thank
your
you.
light is so bright. So just going back to you with your relationship with your parents and like coming along in this journey, like how do you maintain that positivity in this world that we live in, KeKe?
You know, I sure like, girl, the world is crazy. I love that you said in the world that we live in, because this world is really crazy. Like, when you're living in the real, I mean, my sister, she's in school right now. She's talking about all this philosophical thing. She's telling me about this man, Lacan, and she's like, there's a symbolic, there's the real, there's this. And she's like, when you're living in the real, things are coming at you fast, especially when you've had any type of, like, traumatic experiences. Like, you know, you're just like, you can't turn it off. And a part of it, I think, for me, is learning how to choose what I want to focus on. And I choose to focus on the positive. I really do. I try my hardest to focus on the things that I'm grateful for, because that's really all that I can control. I can't stop all the atrocities in the world. And I remember right around when COVID happened, you know, obviously that's an atrocity. But then, like, all the atrocities that was happening to our community at the same time, from George Floyd to Ahmaud Arbery. And obviously, these are just a couple of names. You know what I mean? We have so many more names, you know what I'm saying, that I could go on and on and on and mention. That shit start to really get to you. Excuse my language. Like, it really, I mean, I remember at one time I was just sitting in my room and I was just down. And I had to say, okay, well, let me focus on what I can focus on, which is the young people in our community that's doing good, the ones who are having chances, the ones who are making money and building things, the ones that are in good spirits, that's going to school, people who's just graduating. You know what I'm saying? My sister, she's in college. A bunch of kids out there, beautiful black kids that's going to HBCUs. Let me smile and be happy about them. It's about what I choose to focus on. It's about God, knowing and believing, man, if his only son could die and life would go on, I think we're going to be all right. You know what I mean? I know that's deep, but it's like true. Real. You know what I mean? It's real. It's like, then I got to keep moving. So, I talk about that in the movie. Like the movie, I really talk about kind of my spiritual, grounding and coming from the church and how that's really been what's been able to help me get through the industry and just life in general and the foundation that I've come from. And so I'm a very blessed person, and not just because of the career that I've been granted with, but because of the family that I have and the fact that they did introduce me to faith so long, or so early on, excuse me.
Yeah, I respect that, man. And there was a scene, I was able to watch it.
Oh, that's what's up.
I got Amazon Unlimited.
Okay, period.
I had to pay for it today.
I'm howling. She was like, I got it for, what did they say, 30 days, and then I'm undoing my account.
I paid for it, though, KeKe.
I know that.
But you had a scene where it was an emotional scene, and you were just talking about being respected in the industry.
Man, yeah.
Can we talk about that scene? And I felt that because just me being budding in this and not even in the caliber that you are in it, I feel like, sheesh, sometimes because it's male dominated in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
And then it's just tough. It's dog eat dog.
I recently was given at the LGBT Center, I was given the Vanguard Award, and I talked a lot about gender and about how, I've always, like, if you put me down on a piece of paper, my life would be so much easier if I was a man, right? I make a lot of money. I've been doing my thing for a minute. All the attributes that they tell you that only a man can have is stuff that I have. I'm a go-getter. I'm assertive. I lead with a lot of masculinity sometimes, which is considered just me knowing what I want and just having power. And that's always been something that has been like really a source of resentment, because it's like, damn, why is that not accepted? It's like that Taylor Swift song, "If I was a man, I'd be the man." Do y'all understand me? Like, y'all can't, come on now. I really love that, because it's like you in the industry so much, you can have all the qualities. And then people, just because of what's between your legs, that's why you don't respect me. That's why when I come in the room, I'm trying to figure out which part I got to play so y'all don't try to sleep with me. But then if you need to think I'm sexy because you need to think I'm an artist, but then I got to be cool. What's up, bro? Like, what role do I got to play for y'all to really, like, rock with me for real? You know what I'm saying? I'm coming in, I'm like, "Hey, y'all doing? What's good, homie?" And then it's like, in the next minute, it's like, "Oh, I'm doing too much. Let me have y'all playing." Like, it's really hard to figure out, like, what to do. And that's like, it's a struggle. To figure out, and then eventually you just like, I just got to be myself, you know what I'm saying? And I just got to, like, if you're not going to respect me, then I just got to not be around you. And I think that's a real hard thing to accept, because a lot of times it be people that you really admire. There are so many occasions where I'm around so many people that I admire, that hell, the whole world admire, and they just belittle me. And I'm like, damn, but you're somebody I look up to. If only you knew how much I look to you as a hero. And it's like, in this moment, I'm only really valuable to you if I'm sleeping with you, or really I'm sleeping with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of the only option, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe I'm the plug. I got to be one or the other, and I can't be the plug. I don't have the connections. So, it's tough, man. It's tough, and I really don't know what the perfect words would be to help somebody get through that per se, other than to go where the love is. Don't think that just because this is the hottest crew, or these are the dopest people, and these are the so-and-sos, or these somebody that you admire, those are the people for you. Because if they don't respect you and they don't really value what you bring to the table, then there's no way that they could be the right people for you, because the right people for you are going to love, respect you, and see you for your worth. And I think for me, it was like, I was always thinking that I had to be in certain spaces in order for my music to exist. And if Billie Eilish and her brother could sit in the basement and get a couple Grammys, honey, you don't need to do much. Just do you. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's journey is specific to them. It don't always have to be, I was with, the NWA and them, or whoever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that crew might be that you think you got to be down with.
Yeah. And I just want to affirm you in meeting you today. Like, when you walked in, it was so bright. You complimented my bag. You said, "Your haircut cute." I said, "She is exactly what I thought." But I want to talk about the significance of dropping on Mother's Day weekend.
Yes.
What inspired that drop date?
Well, I do think moms are the ultimate bosses, child, especially after having my child and having, like, I feel like I'm very blessed and have a lot of support, right? But there are a lot of people that don't have that support, and it was hard for me. Like, I was like, damn, this is heavy, you know what I mean? Just having the responsibility of this person. I'm so happy, but then I'm also so scared. There's so many emotions that you go through. And then I thought about all the single parents, all the single mothers specifically. And I say mothers specifically because obviously I know there's a lot of single dads as well, and I really give respect to them as well. But when I say mothers, because, like, not only are you caring for the child and having to be there for the child in real time, but you're also dealing with a lot of emotional stuff, you know, chemically as a woman, you know, just whatever that pop off, man, it's just some stuff, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what it was for, but it's just like emotionally, there's a lot of stuff you're going through. So when you imagine that there are a lot of mothers out there that are doing it on their own, you know, having to be there for the child in real time and then also deal with whatever they're going through personally, there's so many props that I just have to give. And then those that are obviously, because we all have dreams, fighting for their dreams at the same time, you know, not giving up on themselves. So yeah, I think that ultimately was the significance for me of dropping on Mother's Day, is because moms are big bosses, you know what I mean? And hopefully they can listen to the good tunes of the music of the album and also get into the movie and be inspired, because that's really ultimately what the spirit in which I wrote the movie from was, a space of hope, inspiration, and just drive and encouragement for really everybody, but definitely young women, because that's an experience that I can speak directly from, because I'm a young woman.
Right. And a new mommy.
How
is it being a new mommy?
I mean, it's amazing. Like, it's such a crazy thing to describe the feeling of, because you're just so happy to have this person, that this is your person. You know, when I look at my son, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, this is my guy. But then it's also, it's a lot of responsibility. And I think that's like a real thing that moms are also trying to deal with and process. Like, I got to make sure this person is good. You know, I got to be able to leave and go and do stuff like this and know that my baby is okay. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, his dad's doing stuff, you know, so sometimes neither of us can be there. So it's like, I need to know that this child is okay. I need to be at ease. And that's something that I know, like I'm telling you, I used to read memes and stuff like that. My son going to kindergarten for the first time, or my child going to daycare and everything like that. I'm like, wow, this is deep. Now I know it's deep, for real, you know, because you love this person. So I think that was the most surprising and hardest thing that I had to deal with of being a new mom, is just really loving someone so much. It's the closest thing I can think of it to is like my relationship with my mom. Because I remember I used to get anxiety attacks when I was like 17 or 18. Like, what happened? What something happened to my mama? You know what I'm saying? They used to start scaring me, right? I'm like, they used to start scaring my ass as I started to be like, oh, she getting older. Oh, hell, there's an ending to this. I had to go to therapy and everything. I was like, yeah, one day I'm going to have to deal with that, you know. So the similarity, that's like the closest thing I can think of, is like, wow, you're in the world, and now it's like, I got to let you exist in the world. I got to come to terms with that. And I think that's like probably a lifelong journey. I think I'm just at the beginning, you know, of that, you know.
I completely resonate with the thought of like that moment that I realized my mom ain't going to be here forever.
Man.
I was like, bro, what?
And my mom is like so much to me. Like she's my mom, but then she's also my road dog. That's my girl. Like if something going on, I'm like, can you believe him? So let's get into it. Like I'm talking to her for real. And I'm like, yeah, at the end of the day, I don't want it. You know, I'm like, girl, let me tell you what he's, you know, I'm always talking to my mom about everything. And we share a passion. Mm-hmm. Like I was hanging out with my siblings and we were all sitting and talking. And my little brother, I'm 7 years older than him. And, you know, I remember when he was born, and it's so crazy when I hear him and my little sister, they're twins, when I hear them talking about things from their own perspective, it's crazy because they just been babies to me their whole life. Mm-hmm. But he looked at me and he was like, I don't really think you and mom understand what y'all have done. You know, we be having all these crazy conversations. He was like, we were kind of talking about the Matrix and stuff like that. And he was like, I think you really woke her up, and what you guys have been able to do for each other and be for each other, and how y'all been able to live and move. Like, y'all really did some unbelievable things, and I think I can see it more than you can see. I don't think you and mom gonna ever be able to see what y'all did and how y'all impacted our family. I'm just like, there's no way. Like, how you saying this? Like, you my little brother. Like, it was crazy to hear him say something like that. And, you know, because he's my family. He really have watched since I was little. And it was just so crazy to hear him say, like, you and mom are pretty much an inspiration to us, and what y'all have accomplished, we don't know if y'all will ever be able to see what y'all's bond was able to do and how it was able to, like, really change the trajectory of our family. And I'm just like, it's crazy to imagine, because really me and my mom was just we were just in love. You know, we were just living in love. You know, our love, it manifested what is, to be KeKe Palmer brand and my career, but it's crazy, because we were just being in love and just working from that place.
Man, I think that's another realization, just being able to know that you can be in love with your mother.
Yes. Yes.
And I love you, Mom.
Yeah, like you my road dog, like for real. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. Like we're tight, and it will never go anywhere. I think that's when we're talking about like losing a parent and stuff like that, what I ultimately got to was that my mom can never leave me because she's in me. So it's like, people always like, KeKe, how you say this, how you have that. I'm like, because that's what was fed into me. That's my language to myself, because that was the language she taught me to have for myself. And then it's crazy because somebody taught her to have that language to herself. So like, no matter what, you know what I mean? If I can't call her, I know how to, like how I just went into it right then, I know how to be Sharon because Sharon is in me. So it's like, if I'm ever down, I'm like, girl, you know what to do. Tell them, don't get them up off you. Get them up off you. Like I know how to. You know what I'm saying? I know how to go to that place. So it's crazy, man. Life is a trip. Like what old boys say, life's a trip. Heard you just turned 17 and finally got some hips.
Bruh.
That was a hit. Y'all know that.
Bruh. But I just want to say, is there a favorite song that you have on the project?
Okay, so like I said, Views is definitely up there. Views is definitely up there. I think it's gonna be Standards, Waiting, and Views.
Okay.
Those are probably my top three. I love all the songs, though, and I definitely think it's an honorable mention to go ahead and do, it's a cross between Love Language and Approach Me, because I just love those records. Like, Approach Me, Approach Me is literally the energy we're talking about, Big Boss. Like, understand that, like, when you approach me, I'm not like them. I'm not one of them. I'm something different and unique. And there's a cool way that we did that metaphorically in the visuals for the film. I was going to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it so people can check out the movie. But just pretty much saying, look, it's cool. It's cool to be different. Like, you know what I mean? But just let them know when they approach you that they got to come a different way, too.
And my last question is, like, what inspired you to get back into your music bag?
Man, I think it was just that time, and I feel the same way. Like, I feel that vibe with music right now. And I'm one of those people that follow my vibe, so whether it's, I want to do more hosting right now, or I think I want to lay back and do more digital, or, I think, let me get into a movie bag. What's going on? What they got going on out there? I just really follow my gut. And right now I'm feeling that with music, and I'm really excited to get back on the road, you know what I'm saying? And like do some shows and dates and things like that. So I think, I'll probably start working on another project pretty soon, because that's just how I'm feeling. Like I got something to say, in that way.
KeKe got something to say.
I got something to say for y'all.
And it's so many flavors on this project. It's definitely giving summertime vibes. So.
Right?
Yeah.
Summertime vibes. Again, like I think really also just like being that girl, being that girl energy. I think hopefully when people listening to the album, they're also feeling like strong. You know what I mean? Because I think it has that energy too. Like just like, yo, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm giving it to them. Because that was the vibe that I had making it.
Man, well, thank you so much, KeKe
Oh my gosh, thank
Palmer.
you. Girl, this conversation was very, very lit.